Doc Loves the Kids, a local Kitsap County nonprofit organization established in 2015, whose mission is to provide activities, programs, and community support for at-risk youth.
They put the U in community.
Doc Loves the Kids.
Welcome to Uncommon Courtesy.
We give you the courtesy of conversation
That's uncommonly spoke of.
I'm D-Mac.
I'm Wesley.
And this is the show. Don't forget to like, listen, subscribe. Thank to all subscribers, everybody listens to us and follows us. We really appreciate you. So I guess the debate is on, my brother.
Yeah, it's on, man. It's looking like September 10th they're gonna be having it.
Right before you get sentenced, right?
I think so, huh? Trump and Harris to debate on ABC. Trump says he wants two more. U.S. Republican presidential candidate Donald Trump and Democratic opponent Kamala Harris will debate on September 10th on ABC, setting up the first face-to-face matchup between the rivals in what polls shows is a close race. In news conference at his Palm Beach, Florida residence, Trump said he wanted additional debates on September 4th and September 25th that will air on Fox and on NBC. Harris said in an X post that she's looking forward to September 10th debate after Trump finally committed. She told reporters after a Detroit area campaign stop that she was open to discussing more debates, but a campaign official reiterated that the position that on September 4th Fox debate is off the table. Discussions on future debates depend on Trump's participating in the September 10th debate on ABC, the official said. The Harris campaign had already opposed the Fox debate, saying the host network should be the one that sponsored recent primary debates on both parties.
Which makes sense. You know what I'm saying? He wants the Fox debate because they're going to put it like in a boxing ring, and he wants the people screaming and cheering for him when he says nonsense. You know what I'm saying? I hope she does the B rabbit on him.
What you mean?
The B rabbit where she just be like, well, you know, my opponent's going to say this, and this about me, and da-da-da-da-da. You know what I'm saying? And just hits him with it, and then he ain't got nothing else to say.
And even bigger than that, man, Fox is like, they're known to spread lies and falsehoods. Don't get me wrong. I think a lot of news networks has pushed propaganda, but I don't believe they pushed outright lies, knowingly pushed lies. I believe that they'll skew the truth.
Well, CNN's been in trouble a couple times, you know,
really,
especially when they jumped. Like recently, the Kansas City Chiefs. There was the one kid. He was dressed as he had a Native American like hat on with the feathers and stuff, and half his face was painted red. And they were like cultural and appropriation or whatever, but he was like half Native. You know what I'm saying? Which they didn't know. He just looked white. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, it's a lot of that going on, you know?
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's a lot of mixing.
Well, they also got a nickel, or was it like a nickel Indians? That's what they called them. They had this thing where, like, they were giving, like, land to Native Americans, and, like, anybody could sign up for it. So, like, you know.
I remember that.
Yeah, white people were saying they were Native.
I remember that. I feel like this debate, man, it will I mean, I feel like it favors Kamala, but at the same time, Trump needs this debate because right now his campaign is spiraling. They're trying to call her out for not speaking to the press corps, or even taking like open interviews or open questioning from the press. But I think it plays into her hand. Why am I going to give up any of my policies or anything before my
debate?
Yeah, or even not way before the debate, before the DNC. I'm gonna put out my whole entire platform at the DNC because that'll give me another push. Yeah. You know, I want to ride this wave off of what me coming in, fresh new energy. I'm gonna sit here, say my stump speeches because my policy is already in place.
Well, they're mad because they can't control her. You know, they want to, like, you know, you couldn't control Donald Trump when he was doing things. They were like, do this as the norm. Mm-hmm. And now since his back's against the wall because his whole thing was like, oh, Sleepy Joe this, and now Joe's gone. Now he's the old man stumbling over words, forgetting things.
I mean, he had an easy opponent. I mean, it was tough. I mean, don't get me wrong.
He had an easy opponent and still looked stupid.
And this is not even me.
I still told lies.
And I can't, absolutely. And I can't even knock Joe Biden. It's just that he was just past his prime at this point in time. If Joe Biden was not past his prime, he had so many great accomplishments while he was in office that he could have touted. It would have been easy W for him, but he just didn't have it. He wasn't informed. It's, you know, everyone could see the decline that he's going through. It's just he's a lot older than his age. The mental wear and tear of being in office has really gotten to him. Yeah. You know, I feel like, but this debate, I think, like I said, favors Kamala Harris because she's a debater. This is what she does. I mean,
she has more energy too, and also it's like, you know, they had, like, when Hillary Clinton was up, bro, they had like 3 years to go after her before because they knew she was going to be the nominee. Mm-hmm. So they came. I mean, they had the Benghazi stuff they got to throw on her. They did the email stuff they threw on her. And Kamala, it's like, bro, they only got a couple months. She got to like royally mess up right now. Yep. Do something bad.
And that's why she's probably not trying to say too much.
I wouldn't either.
You know what I mean? Because the biggest thing they're going to try to hit her with is just this whole Palestinian, assault that's going on over in Gaza. And that's the biggest, that's the, the kind of the, what's around their neck as far as being like a really bad thing, a really bad policy that they're pushing.
I want Kamala to acknowledge us, foundational Black Americans, and the difference. I was thinking about this the other day, man. That kind of pisses me off. You know what I'm saying? Like, if a man walks up to me and says, I'm a woman, I have to respect him identifying as a woman, which is fine. I don't care. Okay. Do what you want to do with your life. As long as it's not hurting me personally, I don't care. But when we start trying to separate our lineage, people have a problem with that. And that's what I want from Kamala Harris. I want you to acknowledge us as foundational Black Americans. You could be like, hey, I'm not foundational, but I came to love the culture here of these people. You know what I'm saying? We will not be replaced.
No,
we will not be ignored because our vote matters.
No, definitely. And you know what? I don't disagree with you, but I do want to, like, your explanation was great for it. But at the same time, it's like, so a person who isn't a foundational Black American, but they come here later and they're considered a Black American. I mean,
they're not really. You're from somewhere. You have a lineage. You'd be like, okay, I'm from the Bahamas. I'm from Nigeria. You're from somewhere. I'm from America, bro, because they erased all my history and took all my everything from us.
Absolutely.
We had to create our own. Shout out to the Olympics having breakdancing. Anyways, back to Kamala and Trump. I wonder how disrespectful. Think about it, he's gonna get disrespectful and she's gonna get disrespectful back.
Yeah,
she's not. She ain't gonna take the high road. You saw when she was she had that one. She was talking earlier, and they're like, "Hey, either you want Donald Trump to win, or you're gonna shut up and let me speak."
Pretty much. And even when she debated with Mike Pence, she was like, "Excuse me, excuse." She was being very, very civil. But this time, I think she understands who she's dealing with. She's dealing with an animal, so you gotta attack aggression with him. It can't be childish aggression. It has to be straightforward. I'm not putting up with. No, you're not gonna talk down.
I hit him with childish aggression. He ain't that witty. He funny, but I don't know if Kamala got jokes.
I don't think it's even about jokes. I mean, she can have jabs though. You don't have to have jokes with him. You can have jabs. You got 34 felonies. You something. You got 34 felonies.
I don't argue with felonies. You can't even vote for yourself.
You got all these settlements againt you. This is, you know what I mean? Like, you don't have to have jokes as much.
She could. She'd be like, yo, you report your PO this morning.
You get what I'm saying?
He make you pee in the cup.
We would love to be able to let felons vote. Donald, you know what I'm saying? Like, you feel me? Like, there's things that she could hit him with there. That does not necessarily have to be jazz, but he has some really good counter punches against her too. Her record, I mean, even though it's been fabricated, her whole record over in California, as far as they're sitting here saying she put 1,900 Black people or 1,900 people behind bars for marijuana. I mean, like, people go to jail for weed. It happens. That's what it is.
Was illegal.
And then they got the other one where they're talking about the guy got 50 years and she didn't help get him out. I mean, I don't know the story behind that, but it's just stuff that people are saying. So he's gonna bring all these things up. When did you become Black? He's gonna say these. I think he's gonna say that.
I'd be like, she'd be like, when did you decide to become orange? She's like, why did Oompa Loompas get to grow up and become this?
But I think, I mean, him having the actual gall to say that in front of what was that, the National Black Journalists Association or something like that.
She's gonna be like, Oompa Loompa Doompa Doo. Tell the truth. I believe you can't fool.
I had to let him do this because he would have did it 17 times. I had not let him do it.
It's gonna come out.
But I think that she's
gonna be like, take your wig off and talk to me like a respectable bitch.
It's stupid. Listen, and what I'm saying though is like this really just him having the gall to say that in front of the National Black Journalists Association or whatever tells me that he'll have the gall to say it on stage in front of everybody. He won't care.
He don't care. His voters will love it too.
I mean, I think they would, but at the same time, the more Black vote that erodes off, and the more centrist, like the independent central,
the difference between him and the Joe Biden debate they had is that Joe Biden wasn't like there. No, Donald Trump he had a horrible debate.
Yeah, he did.
He had a horrible debate. The only thing that made his debate side look better is because Joe Biden's in there.
It was tough, man.
It was tough.
And then even watching him walk off the plane for the very last time when he had his COVID diagnosis and he was walking away, it was like, man, he knows that he can't do it. Like, man, even if you pump me up with all, whatever you give me, any kind of, I can't perform. Even though I love the fact of what he's done over the last 4 years. The CHIPS Act, I'm going to have a segment I'm going to do on that personally, where I'm talking about the CHIPS Act, man, because that's a huge act that's really brought back manufacturing in America. And I think that these are some of the things that these achievements will be what Kamala, they talk about what are her policies. Her policies are already showing you that. She's also showing you her policies by who she brought in for her vice president. She brought in Waltz. What did he do in Minnesota? Or, you know what I mean? What he did in Minnesota, he got free breakfast and lunch for all kids.
Yeah.
I can put my vice president on that assignment. Let's try to get this done for all of Americans.
And speaking of Tim Walz, also like one of our viewers, shout out to you. You said what the real reason they were saying he had stolen valor, and I don't believe we addressed that last time.
Okay.
He was a reservist.
Yes.
And he'd already done his 20. He was like on year 22.
It might have been on year
22, and it was time for the Iraq War to start. And he was like, "Nah, I'm good. I've served my time." Because during that, they started sending the reservists in. Because first what they do, they send in the Marines, and the Marines usually get it done. Hoorah! Mm-hmm. And then what I'm saying, and then if the war has to continue, then they send in the Army. And then, like, the Army gets too depleted, then they have to bring in reservists or whatever. Yeah. So he was a reservist. He already done like 20 some odd years, and the Iraq War was about to start, and he was like, or the Afghanistan War.
No, it had already started. The war had already started.
And he was like, "Yeah, I'm good."
But the thing of it is, though, by the time he got out, it was 10 months. He had it was 10 months before their deployment would even happen, right?
Yeah.
And their deployment was for 22 months. So I would have been sitting there for over basically 12 months more or whatever, more than what I would have even been here. And I'm risking my life, and I'm 40-something years old, and I already just did 24 years.
Yeah, you might have an ulcer or something.
It don't even matter. I'm out of here. I mean, I'm going to tell you what you're going to tell a person, man, you did your time, bro. This is what you come to the military for. People act like people go to, some people may, you know what I mean? Don't get me wrong. Like Pat Tillis, or whatever. Yeah, Pat Tillman. He went to go be Mr. Captain America.
So did the rapper Cannabis, bro. Like 9/11 happened, Cannabis stopped rapping. He joined the military.
Went to be Captain America. You can respect. I respect all military.
That's why I say I don't argue with people in the military.
I argue with whoever, man.
I don't argue with people that have served. I don't argue with people that have served overseas. Like that's, I got you. Like I told you, I don't argue with military folks, and I don't argue with firefighters because they're doing two things I ain't about to do.
I'm like this. This is what I'm saying.
I'm not running in the building, and I'm not defending my country in a foreign country.
I mean, if I had to, I would go do it.
I'll defend the country here,
simple.
like a Minuteman.
If I had to, and I'm not trying to say I would sign up for it or no shit like that, but if that's all we had to do, and I had to go do it, I'll go handle my business.
I'm too old now. If they came, I'll defend our country here. I'm not going to no foreign country.
Like I'm saying,
though,
bigger than that. The reason why I will have that debate, because I'm gonna start off the debate with thank you for your service, period. But if it gets to the point to where you're trying to shut me down based off of your service and what you're saying is right because of your service, that's not how this shit works. No. I mean, I appreciate your service, and I'm gonna take it as that. But the rest of the conversation will be had. I mean, because just because you served in armed services does not make what you say more important than what anybody else says. Period. That's just how I look at it. But
I got one here. It's a Democratic judge who convicted a man after a jury found him not guilty has been temporarily removed from the bench. Louisiana Supreme Court on Tuesday handed down the ruling removing Baton Rouge Judge Ebony Johnson Rose after she made several controversial decisions. The ruling comes as the judge in the state's 19th Judicial District is set to face off against a Republican in November's election. The order released by the court states that Johnson Rose is being immediately disqualified from her duties as proceedings continue to determine whether she committed a violation of the Code of Judicial Conduct and posed a substantial threat of serious harm to the public and the administrations of justices. Her conduct is being reviewed by special counsel who has 6 months to report the findings, according to the order. In a concerning opinion, Louisiana Supreme Court Justice Jay McCullen wrote that he agrees the judge presents a substantial threat of serious harm to the public. However, Justice Jefferson Hughes III dissented from the majority, pointing to the judge's apologies for her conduct. The reason I read this article, imagine you go to court for any kind of crime, right? And you're found not guilty by a jury of your peers. And then the judge is like, nah, I'm going to send you to jail anyways.
That don't make. I don't think can a person do that.
She did it.
I mean, that sounds illegal as fuck to me.
She did it. That's why she's done multiple things, but this is the thing that got her.
Sounds illegal. That sounds illegal to me. That sounds more than just how can you even do that? That doesn't even sound right.
Oh, judges and prosecutors do crazy shit.
I'm out of here. I'm look at the judge and at the bailiffs and everybody bro, I'm out of here. I just got found not guilty, and you gonna tell me that I got to go to jail?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? This ain't I didn't do a bench trial where I asked you for your opinion. You here to preside over, be a middleman in this whole thing. You're telling me already who you're siding with to begin with.
Yes.
Period.
A jury found them innocent, and you said, nah, you got to get locked up anyways. Imagine the pain that is. Like, they just took your friend. That's kind of like the rapper, rest in peace. His name is Draco the Ruler. Yeah. Right? He was in California. One of his friends, they got him on this conspiracy charge because one of his friends rapped a song that was related to a crime, kind of like the rapper X-Rated. Mm-hmm. One of his friends rapped a song related to the crime, so they rounded up all of his friends because he was an expiring rapper, rounded them all up and held him in jail for 2 years on a false conspiracy charge. with no hearing. Just locked them up because one rapper made a song about something. So that violates your freedom of speech. And then they locked them up, just held them in jail.
You got to check for that, man. Because I mean, that's just abuse of power, man. There's no way that this is America. They do this shit in other countries. Look at is that El Salvador? They've locked up like I think it's like 60, 70,000 people, 100,000, something like 100,000 people. He just built a new 60,000 bed jail over there, and they're just locking people up with no hearings, no nothing. That's what they do in foreign countries, man.
No, that's what they do in New York. They lock you up, put you in Rikers. Remember that one kid? They said he stole a backpack. He was locked up for 2 years.
Stole a backpack, man.
2 years, killed himself because there's hella people in Rikers right now that's been there for a year. People in Louisiana has been locked up for years and still haven't had a trial.
And this is what we're sitting back and we're talking about. Just listening to people talk about granting people immunity. Pushing laws aside and kind of making it easier for judges to do things like this. This is what we have to worry about as being black people. We got to stop looking at what we think sounds good and look at the truth. You know what I mean? Like more than likely when these things that happen, I'm not sure if this person was black who she did this to.
Her name's Ebony Johnson Rose. That's black as hell.
Yeah, she's cooked. She should be put in jail.
Period. Oh, yeah,
they should have put her in jail for that.
Slap her on the wrist, don't do it again. They're going to take her law from her or whatever. But yeah, no, she should go to jail. See how it feels. It's not easy to send people to jail like that. Oh yeah, she black and she got Kamala hair.
It's too crazy.
She must, the black judge that locked up Meek Mills because he popped a willie and she saw it, so she got mad. She was controlling him. He was on probation for 15 years.
15 years.
Or parole.
Just like that. This is why we were talking about the little autistic kid the other day. Yesterday, when we were talking about it. This is what worries me. This is what they do in southern states, a lot of places like this. Well, they'll give a person, they'll be like, we're gonna give you 20 years. You're gonna do 5 in, and you're gonna do 15 on probation. Yeah. All they're doing is setting you up to go back to prison for the rest of your fucking life, pretty much.
Well, it's the rest of your life, you're under the system. Which is hard. Man. Think about it. You got to do 5 years and you got to do 15
on probation.
And is it supervised? Don't let it be supervised.
It's supervised. You think that's not supervised?
Checking in every week.
You think that's not supervised probation?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, even if you're checking in once a month, that's still a lot, man. I mean, if you do anything wrong, anything you do wrong, you're gonna get broke off. You know what I mean? Period. They just gave them.
They can come in and they have it set up where they can come into your house anytime, check your shit.
Anytime they want to. Anything out of place, you cooked. You could be having a job, taking care of your shit. You get caught with some weed. You ain't supposed to have weed for the next 15 years, but it's legal for everybody else.
You can't drink, you can't smoke,
which
you
is
can't
out
do
of
nothing.
line, man. That doesn't make sense. I mean, if a person's doing good, what the fuck are you on 15 years of probation for?
I'm still mad they gave that kid 5 years in prison.
He beat the dog shit out of that lady. I ain't gonna lie. You know what I'm saying? He beat the dog shit out of that lady.
He did, but he's not the first.
I mean,
I'm telling you, bro, he's not the first autistic or special needs kids to assault somebody.
He's not.
I know he's the first one to go to prison for it.
This is what I'll say right here, though.
Guaranteed.
She was told, don't take his shit away from him. And she took his shit anyways. Man, he's 270. That's a big dude. That dude's huge.
And I told you, I saw a story about a coworker.
That's a coworker. Lineman.
The caregiver, because she was picking up a special needs guy, the caregiver gave her his lunch, and he snapped and bombed on her.
In before this?
No, yeah, this was 2 years ago.
Same person?
No, it's a different person.
Oh,
this is somebody.
He might need to do.
These are people I know. These are people I know.
He might need to go do some time behind this. But I mean, I'm gonna keep it real. He beat the dog out of her, bro.
Yeah.
It was bad. I mean, I saw that he stumped her head first he knocked her over, then he walked up to her, he stumped her head, he pulled up his pants, you know what I'm saying? He beat the dog shit out of her, bro.
There's special needs.
It was bad.
And like I said, the other parents of the autistic kids were like,
yo, go to prison, though.
Are you going to lock my kids up when they have a bad day too?
He should be locked up somewhere. He needs to go to some kind of Western state. Somewhere. He need to be locked up somewhere for a minute. He needs to go sit it down for a minute and figure out what it is that he's doing.
Yeah.
But he shouldn't go to prison with all the rest of the regular people and stuff because he's not understanding. And it's not kid gloves in prison.
He's autistic, bro. He's going to lose his mind. He needs to be in a facility that helps autistic people.
Yeah, it's not the right.
It's not a place where he needs to go.
The judge was like, and you didn't show any remorse. He's autistic, bro. What kind of remorse is he supposed to show? He don't even understand this.
The lady, if he's highly autistic, he does not need to go to prison.
He shouldn't even be in public then. That's all it is to him. If you can kill somebody, bro, and you can just be told that, oh yeah, you're highly autistic, so you can't get in trouble. You shouldn't be allowed to be in public around regular people.
Go home and eat Cheerios.
Period. You shouldn't be allowed to be around regular people. If you can kill somebody and get away with it and be called something like your special needs, you shouldn't be allowed to be around regular people then. That's how I feel. If you can kill somebody in my family and then you just get off, I should be I should be to kill you. Period. You know what I mean? You can just say, oh, this is a special needs person. This is why they did this. But anyway, That's my personal opinion on that. But Trump compares his January 6th crowd to audience for MLK's "I Have a Dream" speech. Wow. Donald Trump has long boasted about crowd sizes at his rallies, but on Thursday he used an unexpected comparison in making the case that he has the biggest draw, Martin Luther King Jr. "Nobody has spoken to crowds bigger than me," Trump said at his news conference at Mar-a-Lago. If you look at Martin Luther King, when he did his speech was a great speech. And you look at ours, same real estate, same everything, same number of people. Trump responded to questions about whether he thought the end of his term could be considered a peaceful transition of power, even though it was marked by January 6th insurrection. As he has previously, Trump said the people who have been arrested as a result of the storming the Capitol have been treated unfairly. Then unpromptedly, he compared his Stop the Steal rally before his protesters marched toward the Capitol to King's "I Have a Dream" speech, which was held on the National Mall. Trump acknowledged that official estimates put his crowd size smaller than King's, but he said he thought he had more people.
Bro, we've seen the pictures.
I mean,
first of all, I get tired of Republicans always talking about, well, Martin Luther King this, Martin Luther King that. Your family was happy when he got murdered. Yep. You know, excuse me, assassinated.
Some Democrats were too. He had Dixiecrats back then.
Yeah, you know what's crazy? When Martin Luther King was when he got shot on that balcony, he was still alive. They drove him to the hospital, right? And the doctor refused to work on him. He said, "I'm gonna let that nigga die." And they held his nose while he was still breathing and stopped him from breathing. They killed him in the hospital.
Is that I heard that story too. You know what I mean?
I ain't lying. Fact check me.
I heard that story too, and but I'm not going to sign off on it. But I've heard that story though. Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's
that's real shit.
At the same time, I know that his family also won either some kind of a settlement or something with the government in the 90s over the fact that the FBI,
the CIA, it was
had something to do with his death.
It was a lot. It was the FBI, the CIA, the ATF. They was all were involved.
Just name them all. DEA.
They were. I remember that. I was like, well, damn.
I mean, you know, like they more than likely they did. You know what I mean? But I mean, they said that Trump's official crowd size for that event was like 53,000. They said King's was like about 250,000. You know what I mean? So they have the footage from him. They have the pictures of it, everything.
Why is he so obsessed with crowd sizes?
Because he is obsessed with ratings, man. Remember when he was like, you remember that? He was like, I should have won the Tony or whatever award you get for a television show. He was like, it was rigged. That's when he first started his rigged talk, way back in like 08 or 09, whenever that was, when he had his Apprentice show and he thought he should have won or whatever, and he didn't win. He was like, it was rigged. Then after that, he used it was rigged, and you guys just sucked it up, yucked it up. You know what I mean? Everybody.
So what are you going to feel like? Because they talked to a lot of his supporters, and like not all of them, but a lot of them are like, what do you think is going to happen if Donald Trump doesn't win? And a lot of them are like civil war.
I'm like this, man. I think that they're starting to come around. I'm gonna be real with you. I had a thought today. I was like, damn, you really think about it. His last 2 times that he's run for president, it's been some kind of amazing shit happen. Think about it. We had COVID happen right before he fucking ran in 2020. Now you got Joe Biden drop out the race at the last minute. Kamala Harris come in with a soaring, you know what I mean, like a soaring presidency. Everything looks good and perfect.
What about the first time he ran?
They didn't think he was gonna win. They were like, "What the fuck?"
He didn't know. Remember, he came out. He was like, "Oh, snaps!"
He didn't even want to win. Remember, he came out with the table. He had all his products on there. He had the steaks on there. He had everything. Like, what president have you ever seen come out with a table full of products, hawking his products? Like, look here, you know, I got steaks.
He's so old and prideful. He's just like, I gotta keep going.
You know what I'm saying? What it was, he was like, man, fuck it. If I got this big stage, I'm gonna try to sell these products. I need to get some money because I'm not about to beat her. He didn't even. He said he didn't even think he was gonna win. You know what I mean?
You know what's funny? It's like everyone was just they felt so terrorized by him because they didn't like him and you had to see him every day. And for me, I just thought it was funny because I've been terrorized by America my whole life. And you have to laugh at shit like that or else it'll drive you crazy. So I thought every time I got on Twitter, I was like, ooh, a misspelled word. He's angry today.
Hey, man, if he wins, man, I hopefully, I mean, we don't know what's going to happen right now. It's still kind of very, very new. But to see if he does win, it's going to be a hell of a 4 years, man.
I want to do this one really quick.
Go ahead. We got.
Where is it at? It says Forest Service orders Arrowhead Bottled Water Company to shut down California pipeline. In a decision that could end a year-long battle over commercial extraction of water from public lands, the U.S. Forest Service has ordered the company that sells Arrowhead bottled water to shut down its pipeline that collects water from springs in San Bernardino Mountains. The Forest Service notified Blue Triton, brands in a letter last month saying its application for a new permit has been denied.
Dang.
District Ranger Michael Nobles wrote that in July 26 letter that the company must cease operations in San Bernardino National Forest and submit a plan for removing all its pipes and equipment from federal land. The company has challenged the denial in court. Environmentalist activists praised the decision.
I mean,
first of all, Arrowhead water is disgusting. When they have like tornadoes and hurricanes and all kind of stuff, all the water be gone except for Arrowhead.
I would drink if I had to. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah, I mean, if you had to.
I got no problem with it. But I know what you mean, though. Like, back in the day, I remember E40 used to use Arrowhead, a container of Arrowhead water, you know what I'm saying, to make some of his drinks.
Yeah,
I remember that was part of it.
And then it comes from it comes from California. No wonder it's nasty.
Oh, wow.
One time I was a kid, bro, I went to California. I was in Ventura visiting my family. I turned on, I'm from Washington, right? So we drink out the faucet because that water is glacier water, right? Whoa, clean water, right? Mm-hmm. I go to California, I pour this shit out the faucet, think I'm cool. I drink that water, I'm sick all day. They was like, "What you do?" I was like, "Drink some water out the faucet." Like, you can't do that.
You can't do that, man. Most places you can't drink out the faucet. It's just,
we used to, our water's so clean. We used to drink out the hose.
Yeah,
I ain't gonna do it now.
When I was a kid, we used to drink out. When I lived on, we lived back in Ohio. I used to drink out the hose.
Well, we all did. That's why we have such strong immune systems. They'd be like, "Why didn't COVID kill all of us?" Well, we was outside most of the time.
It's crazy that they've taken away. You're basically shutting down a huge portion of their business. This is where are they going to get their water? They're going to find somewhere else to get the water from.
Some dirty other state.
Yeah, they're going to have to. They're going to have to change all their, advertising and everything. But that's a pretty big blow to them. I bet you it's because Californians running into such a water problem all the time. So they're like, man, we can't let you guys keep on. They're taking. I mean, to get this out of some kind of wherever creeks they're getting this from, you're extracting a lot of fucking water.
Well, I always say
that.
I say this too, and I throw out this conspiracy, and people kind of looked at me weird, but I kind of equate bottled water and the accumulation of people saving water to the reason we're having droughts in places.
I mean,
there's a lot of water stored places. It's like I have hella water in my garage.
But think about this. They're also taking it and purifying it, then selling it to the people who can't drink out of those fucking faucets at their house.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's almost like a win-win, but you know what I mean?
But there's more of a population, so there's more bottled water in the world. And it's sitting some places. And so a lot of that water should have been in the environment.
Then it's getting all those fucking, what's those microplastics
the microplastic thing that's in us.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Then
every piece of fish that we eat has microplastics in it. Our bodies have microplastics in it. Yeah. Microplastic is our Earth is a Barbie doll world now. It's plastic.
They said no survivors after plane carrying 61 people crashes in Brazil, authorities say. There are no survivors after a Voepass flight carrying 61 people crashed in Brazil on Friday, according to authorities. The passenger plane was traveling from Cascavel, Brazil, and was bound for Guarulhos Airport near Sao Paulo, the airline said. The plane had 57 passengers and 4 crew members on board, the airline said. All died in the crash. State of Sao Paulo firefighters confirmed to ABC News. Voepass had initially said 58 passengers were on board, but later updated the number while also confirming that all 61 people on board the plane died. One ticketed passenger ended up not being on the flight, authorities said. You got to question that person. I don't know who it was. Either they're really, really, really lucky, and I would hope to God that be me. If that's ever been my destiny to have to deal with something like this, but I'm sorry for all passengers on board there. Reason why this is pretty big to me because I fly a lot, man. And so I think about...
if you were supposed to be on the flight, right?
Yeah.
And it clicked you as being on the flight, but somehow you got off the flight, but they still said you was on the flight and the plane crashed. Would you call anybody to let them know you were still alive right away?
Hell no, but they're going to know because they got the manifest. They got everything for the fucking plane on there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I know what you mean, though. You could pretend like you did.
I'm like, I ain't going back.
You out the system. You got a wife and everything, just leave. But let's not laugh about this before we talk about the actual, facts of it and stuff. I mean, that's 61 people that are dead, man. They're watching that flight,
61 families that are affected.
Man, watching that flight, how it was spinning out of control, it just made my stomach hurt just watching because I've been on planes where I'm used to flying. I sleep on planes. That's what I do. I'm going on a plane. I'm getting putting my pillow on the bulkhead part right here, whatever that is, right there by the window. Boom, and I'm knocked out for the whole flight.
Bro,
I
get three little things of tequila, drink them, pass out, and I wake up and I'm where I need to be.
I don't even need drinks. I'm make sure I'm tired. I just wear myself out. But the point of it all is this right here. It's like, I mean, I've been in some really, really bad flights. They've had turbulence that was horrible. And we, kind of turbulence where you hear people scream a little bit and you're looking around at each other like, is this the end? You know what I mean?
It's just wind. That's all turbulence is.
But sometimes just lightning and stuff. Sometimes there's storms and it's just really bad.
You're flying in the clouds.
I've had some problems, but I mean, but you have these thoughts, man, and just being on and seeing something like this, it just makes you like, damn, man. And I'm looking at going places like Brazil, I'm like, damn, it, flights just falling out the air, and the way it looked, man, I could imagine myself being on a flight like that.
I mean, they couldn't turn the wheel and just make it go.
I will be, but
like, you know what's crazy? I caught the first flight out of SeaTac after 9/11.
Really?
First flight, right? Me and my mom. And so I'm talking to the lady checking my bag, and I'm like, are there going to be jet fighters following us on our descent and stuff? She's like, no. I'm like, well, do we get parachute seats? And she was like, no. And then like somebody left two boxes stacked right next to us. And the lady comes around. She's like, hey, whose boxes are these? And nobody said nothing. And she was like, whose boxes are these? I'm like, come on, Mom. Start moving away. She's like, whose boxes? And some Asian lady comes out, oh, those are my boxes. Everyone was like, don't let that bitch on the plane.
This dude is crazy.
I'm dead ass serious, though. I don't care who you is. I want to do one more before we go.
This dude is crazy,
I got this one.
Man.
A nurse, the black community is demanding that the state of Ohio revoke the nursing license of Adama Noho Daoli, a 39-year-old certified nurse practitioner and owner of Eastland Family Practice, LLC in Columbus, Ohio. Nurse Adams Delano is a Somali immigrant who fled her homeland claiming refugee and sought sanctuary in the United States from her war-torn country. She is caught on tape using racially derogatory language towards a black American patient, referring to him using the N-word repeatedly and offensively referring to him as a slave.
And I'm not laughing either because it's not really funny. I know that the reason why I'm laughing because this is like how this is the kind of energy you sometimes get from Africans, people who are like from Africa.
Yes.
You know what I mean? You get this kind of energy. Trust me, I've gotten it before. Like I have
too.
I've driven in not to say they all drive taxis, but I was in a taxi before one time over in Seattle, and this dude was like pretty much like, I don't like black Americans because they're lazy and this is all this other stuff, right? And I'm sitting here listening to him. I'm like, just having that type of a conversation, I'm always like, so what's wrong with your country? Why'd you flee your country here? You know what I mean? Not even, yep, that's a great point.
Yeah, why'd you flee your country?
But at the same time, it's like, why are most countries in, and it sucks because we kind of know that a lot of us probably originated from Africa.
Nah, bro, fuck that shit. They call us a kata. I apologize to cut off they call us a kata. That means lost cat, right? Check it out. You left your war-torn country because your country wasn't shit. You came to America, and then you want to talk down to us? Go back to where you come from then, if you don't like us.
I mean, at the same, I can understand their ambition because they see that this is the land. It's like coming from somewhere where there's not anything. I've been places where, they hustle for every day. They wake up to hustle. I mean, I see people out here do it too, but it ain't the same.
Yeah, because
you're not living in a place.
They should burn her building down.
What'd you say?
You heard me. Anyways, like I said, no, you got to go. You got to go. See, this is what we're talking about in the election. Check it out. Kamala Harris is Jamaican and Indian. Cool. American. That's cool, but you're not a foundational black American. Just like the Somali lady. She felt comfortable. She called her nickel.
She did say, I was wondering, I'm going to be real with you, and it's probably like, you're going to wonder this about a person who's of African descent, but you wouldn't wonder this about a person who was white. But I always ask questions about everything. Like, what prompted that? Because they seemed angry with each other.
Yeah, you got to see what happened
first.
What
I mean? They seemed angry. Did he say anything to her before this happened? But it didn't matter, bro. She really came out with that kind of stuff. Maybe he told her. But you don't know,
Who knows?
Man,
Yeah, I hate seeing the small clips. Show us the beginning.
Because a lot of times when you work, and she worked in home health. That's what it said, something like that. She was like,
she has her own practice.
Yeah, and she's going to someone's house taking care of them. And so we don't know what kind of client this is. I
don't deal with that stuff. Check it out. African and Caribbean immigrants didn't come to America until black folks fought for got civil rights. I mean, the whole country got civil rights, not just us. Mm-hmm. Then they felt safe to come here. But the thing is, they get in positions of power, and then they try to stop us from getting reparations because they don't get a piece of it. They try to stop our advancements in this country. Mm-hmm. That's why you see those people, blacks for Trump. That ain't us. That ain't us. That's them. They're Absolutely. The ones being there, because when you hear them talk, you're like, okay, cool. When you see that their hairline comes all the way back here, they're not from here. That's how you can tell. When the hairline, you'll note, I was on a dating app, right? And the lady asked me where I was from, and I was like, Oakland. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm from Oakland. Mm-hmm. And she's like, so you're from America? I was like, yeah. And she was like, nope, I don't want to talk to you anymore. She was African. They're told, like, not to mix with us.
I mean, I gotta say, man, everyone's gonna have their own view when it comes to that. Like a person can be like, this person told me this, but it takes an open minded person to have to, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if you tell me that someone told you not to do something, you listening, I don't want to deal with you anyway.
And I don't think it's all immigrants.
Of course not.
It's not. But I mean, that's whatever. No, I don't. We're talking about her. She need to go.
We're all very. I mean, trust me. When I'm listening to what she's saying right there, she's cooked for that. She's probably going to lose her license and a lot of other stuff for that right there because all you really got was the part where she's like called him the N-word and then a bunch of other stuff right then and there. She kind of she said she called him a slave.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like it's time for her to go. You know what I mean? Period, plain and simple. I'm not even talking about leaving the country, but as far as her practices, it's a game over.
Yeah. Yeah. So we're gonna keep you updated.
Absolutely, like always.
Uncommon courtesy. Till next time.